up so far. I just want to start off by saying a world-famous line. In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police, who investigate crimes, and the district attorney, who prosecutes the offenders. It's not my line. It's been out there before. We've all heard about the role that the police play, but we haven't heard about the role the district attorney plays. The DA is equally responsible for the record reduction in murders, rapes, assaults, and robberies. It's not a coincidence that New York City is the safest large city in America, and Brooklyn has the crime rate of a small town in middle America. It's not a coincidence, folks. It's hard work. It's the hard work that's been led for the past 20 years by our district attorney, Joe Hynes. His innovative policies have led to less crime, less criminals, and unprecedented cooperation between every single ethnic community in Brooklyn, including ours and his office. For example, instead of throwing drug addicts in prison, DA Hynes works with them to get them rehabilitated. Instead of dumping criminals back on the streets, he works with them to make sure they get the skills they need to succeed. Joe Hynes understands our community, and not just because he was the Shabbos guy growing up. Our community has unique needs, and he works with us hand in hand to ensure that justice prevails. This is, of course, an election year. DA Hynes has an opponent, and I just want to point out, a lot of people believe in myths. There's a popular myth in New York City, and the myth is that a single elected official has magical abilities to move votes, tens of thousands of votes. It's not true. I certainly don't have such abilities. The only ability that I have as an elected official is to bring people together. And standing behind me, we have the leadership of the Orthodox community. We have folks from every single organization, every Hasidic group: Chabad, Satmar, Munkach. We have Skver. We have the major non-profit organizations that work hand in hand with us, including Yad Ephraim, Chesed Shalemes. We have the chairman of the community board. We have a united community here today in the Orthodox Jewish communities of Brooklyn, specifically Borough Park, Midward, and even Williamsburg are here today to support Joe Hynes' re-election. And if you want to know why, the reason, honestly, to me is very simple. The first thing is that, unlike his opponent, Joe Hynes doesn't pander. What you see is what you get. Joe Hynes' opponent goes into one community, says one thing, goes to another community and says something else, then goes to a debate and says something completely different. And quite frankly, that should scare you, because this is not a typical politician. I think we all expect politicians to fudge the truth, but the district attorney is in charge of fighting crime in our borough, and we certainly don't want someone that has different versions in every single neighborhood that he goes to. I think the second thing that really disturbed me, and I think it should disturb anyone, is that this particular opponent is running on a platform which has made very clear that part of his job is going to be to hold the Jewish community accountable. That's a little bit shocking. I'll tell you why. Because imagine if they said that about any other ethnic group in our borough and said, I'm going to hold the X, Y, Z community accountable, and we're going to go after that community. I think the community will be outraged, and quite frankly, we're equally outraged. It's really outrageous for somebody who wants to be the chief prosecutor in the borough to say, I'm going to target a specific ethnic community in this borough, and that's what he said. He said he's going to target the Jewish community. That's something that, quite frankly, is shocking, it's outrageous, and it's unacceptable. And finally, Joe Hynes is a mensch. For those of you who don't speak Yiddish, loosely translated, he's a stand-up guy. I'll tell you something, we don't agree on everything, but we do agree that Joe Hynes is doing an outstanding job. He deserves to have the support of this community. He will be re-elected, and quite frankly, and please quote me on this, I guarantee you that Joe Hynes will win the Orthodox Jewish vote. I just want to make growing behind me. I just want to make one final important point, and that is there's a lot of races that are on the ballot for Tuesday, September 10th. For me personally, this election is my top priority. And some people have asked me, well, that doesn't make sense. It's a mayor's race. Well, you know what? The mayor's going to have a runoff. We'll have a second bite at that apple. This is